Okay, welcome to a new series of Conflict of Nations. We've gone back to the old school, back to the roots, and we're on the main vanilla map. It's going to be a good one. Here with Jonathan and Tim.
Hello.
And we are live and direct. We're in Asia. We've had a few comments. And Tim's just sorting out an alliance, so we'll be able to see the others pretty soon. And I've got a killer new starting strategy that I'm going to try out based on all the other series and episodes I've done. So check out the channel if you want to see what else has been going on. And I'm going to crack into this episode. Who are you, Jonathan?
I am Vietnam.
Vietnam. Okay, you're in there like swimwear. This is your territory. I think you've got 6 cities. I was amazed to see that I've got like 8, but I'm in a really vulnerable position there. And Tim, who have you gone for?
I've gone for another island game. It's gone for Philippines.
Philippines. You're our naval strategist, our expert at best on all things in the sea, and good defensive player. Jonathan, playing Vietnam, really aggressive player. Then I'm kind of somewhere in the middle, and I'm India, right on the west of our flanks. So I'll be defending against Africa and Europe. Europe's the popular one everyone goes for, bundles into, and this is going to be a really interesting game from a really different perspective, and I'm going to have a very different start to what I've tried before, but putting all my knowledge together, I think it's going to be a good one. So I'll definitely be building army bases straight away. One there, one over here. They don't take long.
How is this strategy different to what you've done before then?
So I've always gone for a different strategy each time. I'm not going to build an army base in every single province, in every single city. Sorry, especially because I've got like 8. Just the ones nearest the action. And you'll be very sad to hear I'm not going to go straight into National Guard. I was playing around with that for a little while, but they are a bit rubbish. But they do have their advantages. I'm going to go with a classic first wave of combat recons. I think that's really powerful. Only takes 30 minutes to research them, and they've got really good a powerful attack against troops, which is what you're up against in the very first sort of few days. So 4.5 against troops, 1.5 against armoured vehicles. We're going to research them, and then I'll tell you what else I'm going to research in a minute. So let's see what else we're doing. In the beginning, you do want to focus on resources, you do want to focus on building your army bases, and you do want to focus on that first wave that you're going to start building and sending out. So recruiting officers are really good because they increase your mobilization rate. You can build things faster. So we're going to go into the next buildings that I'm going to build pretty soon. But what are you thinking for your starting position, Jonathan?
Yeah, so I absolutely agree with you. Building less buildings because you don't need them on every city. I'm going to start off with 2 recruiting officers to make sure my manpower doesn't dwindle. I'm going to stick one on a city inland, which I can contribute towards building an infantry officer, and the other one I'm going to start off on my airbase so I can build a fixed-wing officer.
True.
Generally, I find if I've got 2 cities with the same kind of resource, I'll build an arms industry on one of them, and on the other one, I'll build a bunker. Eventually, the plan is, instead of building level 2 arms industries, I'll build a level 1 bunker on all of my cities to just up that morale without having to spend the rare materials early on. And that just helps me manage my mid-game a lot better. I'm researched basic troops, so I can churn out a few of those on day 2 and 3. But for my first wave, I'm turning out entirely combat recon vehicles, the same as you.
Okay.
And I'm researching the seasoned veteran, and then I'm not going to research anything else until I can research the basic strike fighters on day 3. And that's kind of like a tried and tested strategy from me. So I'm just going for the same thing this game.
Okay, so I can actually start... Yeah, we're in different doctrines, and I can start researching strike fighters on day 2, and they're so important, aren't they? Tim, what sort of stuff are you going in your starting setup?
Similar to Jonathan, to be fair, I'm going to try and be as efficient as possible. So with my recruiting officers, I'm going to build one on my definite naval base city and one on my air base city, so I can get the naval officer and fixed wing officer.
Okay.
So yeah, similar situation with that. Probably one other for the infantry officer. And then I'm going to build, I'm going to get my airbase level 2, get strike fighters going as soon as possible, and rush naval base level 3 on my fuel city. Get destroyers going in a couple of days. Other than that, just resources really, and recons.
Destroying start on day 2. I've applied for the coalition. Have you, Jonathan? So we can see each other's stuff very, very quickly, very shortly.
Here we go. I've applied for it too.
It's a tricky one deciding my first moves. I'm going to have a think about this. There's a really important strategic river. I can take all these key points. What country is this then? Pakistan has got to be my first target, I think. And we've got other things like Nepal. It's got one city. Bangladesh is in between. God, I mean, Jonathan. But there's just like one city. So these would all be good to take. I'm going to have to start moving all the troops together. So I think these guys would move over there, these guys over here, and just bundle in, and we'll go for... What's that a part of? That city. Kashmir. Okay, I'm going for Kashmir and Jammu first, and then we can move into Pakistan. I think these guys could explore Hyderabad, or we could... I'm not going to get attacked on the coast early doors, so I can move those guys away, keep some people on Bangalore defensively. 2 should do it. These guys can move up. Yeah, over to the main attack on Pakistan. So it looks like Pakistan's the main one I'm going for to start with. Who are you going to go for, Jonathan? Oh, I can see
I'm already
Tim.
kind of surrounding Thailand now. It's just the natural choice to take out Thailand first.
Yeah.
Not worried about my navy at all unless China decides to send some troops from Hong Kong. But I'm going to take a gamble and say they won't. And then once I've taken Thailand, I'll kind of have to assess the threat of Myanmar and maybe Indonesia, because they might have worked their way up some of the southern cities, Hat Yai and Surat Thani. And then after this area is taken, I'll start looking towards China.
Yeah. And what are your first moves, Tim? Or are you going to just hold in there and build?
I think I'm probably going to go for this section of island split between Malaysia and Indonesia first, just to my southwest. Also, one thing I've just noticed, which is definitely a recent update, if you look at all these little islands, they've all got harbours now. They didn't used to. You used to have to make naval infantry to collect all those.
Oh, they have, yeah.
Yeah, and loads of mine have got harbours now.
Yeah,
So
there's one.
It's going to be a lot easier to land grab now.
Okay,
that's good. Maybe.
Yeah. Just land grabbing Indonesia probably is my first move, to be honest.
Yeah.
Take what's easy.
Yeah. Go for the big wins. Okay, so I'll tell you which units I'm going for next, and which buildings. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 barracks, which might be enough. I'm not going to go for any officers like you guys do. Definitely going to go for some recruiting officers. So this will be... You've got to think about which ones you're going to really pump troops out from. I think... Yeah, 1, 2, 3. These will be the 3 places I pump troops out for, so I can go... Yeah, this city will be pretty key. Could be making tanks out of this one. So I'll go recruiting office. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I'm going to have them 3 recruiting offices where I've got 3 barracks. Just going to speed up production of people you make. I'll be able to start building combat recons very soon then, once it's researched, which is going to be in about 22 minutes. And then I'm going to go on to day 2. I'm going to research armoured fighting vehicles. And also on day 2 I'm going to research mechanised infantry. So we're going to go mechs and we're going to go armoured fighting. And as soon as I can, strike fighters. So it might be that I go for either mechs or armoured fighting vehicles first. Definitely strike fighters. We've seen the value of those. They're so important. Here's my capitals. That's where I've got the airport and a bunker. First wave of combat recons, and then just pump out strike fighters for all we're worth. Definitely going to go after some arms industries now. So arms industries, I think it's really important to have them on your rare materials city. So arms industry there, because you can research more once you build that up. And then of course on the supplies and component cities. So I'm building something on these 2 in the north, but not down here. So I'll go arms industry on this one. Adds 10% to your resources. And what I have realised is that there's absolutely every advantage in having bunkers and hospitals on your home cities, because it can increase your population and therefore your production of the resources. But I think that the first thing that gives you the most bang for your buck, it's arms industries. And I tested that in the last game, and so I'm just going to go arms industries, and then I'm going to go bunkers. But bunkers are very important, because if you go to war with too many people too early on, the bunkers save your morale and therefore your resources. So as long as you don't go to war with too many people early on, like you have the whole map against you, and you're just in a normal game, you should be alright just going arms industries. So I'm going to go with that, and then build in bunkers and then hospitals.
Yeah, this is why I tend to get a few more bunkers, because I like to start wars early on.
You're hyper aggressive, go against everyone. Have you joined the coalition, Jonathan?
I've applied. I haven't been accepted yet. Do I need to fill in a form or something?
Yeah, there's quite a lot of paperwork to fill in, actually.
Oh, okay.
I can see your application. Should we let him in, Tim, or?
I decide tomorrow.
Just slip you a little bribe, maybe.
I've seen Kazakhstan has applied as well.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to be left hanging. You can have 5 in a coalition in this game, but we do stick to our own, don't we? Just me, you, just me and you guys. Oh, there you go, Jonathan. We can see all your stuff.
You can still send them over the paperwork, though.
Maybe we'll consider, but anyone who watches us, it's just us in the coalition. No one else joins.
Yeah.
Unless there's exceptional circumstances, which are pretty rare. Doesn't happen. So we've got a nice setup. We can see everyone, and we're quite near each other, but yet quite far away. Where's Kazakhstan? Because they were wanting to join. Oh, they're up there. Okay. We're not going to let you join Kazakhstan, but luckily there is a huge mountain range in between us. And the mountain range really will, prove a really nice defence. So it's just here in this area where it's through Pakistan and then beyond that's where we'll see people coming in from. We'll be able to cut that off and have a reasonable line of defence. I'd imagine ultimately you might be joining me, Jonathan and Tim, in the push west once we get a handle on China, Mongolia, and
I was thinking that it would be good to fortify New Delhi if that's a place where we'd be flying in our troops. So maybe get a level 2 bunker there eventually, and quite possibly some hospitals.
Yeah, Yeah, that can be our hospital. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing the hospital again. Okay. So normally one of us builds up a hospital to as high level as possible, so all the troops can just use it. Because you can use your coalition's hospitals. It's really, really handy. Because on a high level, you can be, gaining 3, 4, 5, 6 hit points per unit, and healing that every day. So that's a really good tactic. I've got a plane and there's a river in between me and Pakistan, so I'll show you a really good reconnaissance move. You can't hover over someone else's land without declaring war on them, but you can hover in a river and still see. So I'm send my plane up there and have a bit of recon. I'm going to fly over Jammu and see what's in there. I'm going to then fly it down the river through Multan and Hyderabad and just see if anyone's moving any troops towards me. If they are, then I can move my troops accordingly. And it's just a really, really key early thing you can do just to see what's going on, really. Do you ever do that?
Yeah. It's a good more subtle way of scouting out the situation.
Yeah, it's not something I've tried before. I'm usually using my air superiority to hit cities. In other games, we've had people use UAVs to scout out as well. But if the air superiority can do that for you, then yeah, that's a massive bonus.
Yeah, okay. I can see you're having a look. They're on their way. We've started our first episode. This is going to be a good one. I can feel it. I think Tim's going to get a naval superiority. I'm going to get a really nice, really strong land attack. I'm going to have to think how I defend my cities from the sea. And yeah, I think this is going to be a good one. Welcome to this series. It's been a long time coming. Long time since we did this map. But it's the main one. I've got plenty of resources left, so I think I can push out a fair old few units early on without too much waste. And I think I'll have built some recruiting offices soon. Yep, 25 minutes for these recruiting offices to be built, and then I'll put in arms industries on the cog city and the supply city. Probably okay. I've got 2 petrol cities, so I certainly don't need to put any arms industries on those. I'll have plenty enough petrol, fuel. But I will on the electronic cities, so I'm just going to really build up my resources and be a powerhouse to be able to pump out units, and it's going to be mainly armoured fighting vehicles and troops, mechanised infantry. They're killer. Let's have a look at their stats. So they're 3 attack against troops, 5 against armoured targets, but they've got really, really good air defence. And if you've got a few of those in a stack, you get attacked by a plane, then they take a real beating, and that's just on level 1. And we need army base level 2 for those, so I'll build up army base level 2 in one of the cities, and I'll need army base level 2 for the armoured fighting vehicle as well. So I'll have 2 cities at least where I build up the army base level 2. So what sort of stuff are you guys building, and where are we at in this first few minutes of the episode?
I've kind of got everything sorted. Just my arms industries are set. I'll wait until my combat recons have finished researching, and I'll set 5 of those to be built, and then I'll queue in a bunch more after they've been built. That's about it. I've done everything now.
Okay, Tim, I can see you've made your moves. Jonathan, we've had a look at yours. You're combining your armies in 2 places. So you're going for Ubon first, and then
I'll work towards Nakhon Ratchisma.
Yeah.
And then Bangkok, I guess.
Okay. And Tim, you're going for Little Island up there. Rare materials, good shout. And another one, you're just going to hang off the coast of Bandar. So that's Brunei.
Yeah.
They're on their own though, aren't they? Is that where you're going to combine your army? Yeah.
I'm going to move into that city first, and then just land grab that whole island. Take Indonesia City as well. In the next couple of days. Maybe Taiwan as well. Tomorrow.
Okay, and you've left quite a lot of troops defensively. What are you doing for your first wave?
First wave is going to be recons. I'm going to do 5 recons, and then probably 5 infantry.
Nice.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Leave it at that. Probably try and keep them alive as long as possible, so I can just focus on ships after that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going for 5 recons as well. Destroyers are a really good early game thing that you can build. Some people go for corvettes, then frigates, and then destroyers. But if you go straight in for destroyers, and then you're up against other people who've gone for corvettes, I mean, the corvettes really are rubbish. They've got 10 hit points. That's the main thing. So 10 hit points with an attack of 5, which is a big attack. But when you look at a destroyer, it's got 40 hit points. And it's got 8 attack against boats. So already it's the equivalent of probably about 6 corvettes in one destroyer. It's got that much attack. The 40 hit points, that's 4 corvettes. And then you've got 8 attack against boats instead of 5. So it's a big level up. And then you can go back through the corvette route to get the frigates. You have to research corvette first to go to then frigate. And destroyers and frigates are a really nice early game start. And then we start talking power when you get the cruisers online. And it's
also as a nice defensive option, the elite submarines are great. You only need a level 2 naval base to get you started, and a secret weapons lab. And they've got 9 damage and defense against boats and 7 against submarines. So you can sit just one of those outside all of your cities and defend against troops and still be able to take down the odd destroyer. They haven't got as many hit points, but they hit harder.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, the elite submarines are lethal. They've got 9 attack against boats, 7 against subs. They're quite cheap. They take a lot of electronics. And then if you have a look at what the boats can do to subs, a corvette has 4 attack against subs, but then they've only got 10 hit points. They're really weak. Frigates have 3 attack against subs, 28 hit points, middle of the range, and then destroyers. You've got to be careful there. They've got 40 hit points, 5 attack against subs. So a couple of destroyers against an elite sub, you might be in trouble. But yeah, really nice option early doors to maybe get a destroyer and an elite sub, or either or. So are you going to focus on any sort of navy, Jonathan?
Not for the first few days. I'll get my strikes online first, and so I'll just kind of be relying on Tim for navy. But I think it's highly unlikely that anybody's going to come for my naval cities early doors anyway.
Could be Indonesia or Malaysia, Singapore. They just decide to go for you.
I will take that risk and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're getting to a point where, I can start building stuff soon. 9 minutes away from being able to start building the first wave of armoured fighting vehicle. Combat recons. Armoured fighting vehicles to come. Main battle tanks are an absolute killer. They've got huge attack and they've got huge hit points. But look at the debuffs. They're really vulnerable in the mountains. Minus 50% attack, minus 25% defense. They're not great in cities or urban areas, which is what you want to be attacking. They're minus 25% debuff all the way and minus 50% in jungle for the attack. They're great in desert, open land, even forests, open ground. They have a massive buff. But if we have a look at our areas here, what have we got? So, desert in India, some mountains. You've got a lot of mountains and forests. So if someone tried attacking you with main battle tanks, Jonathan, it'd be a disaster.
Oh, it's tough. There's so much jungle around here as well, which is really the hardest thing. So I need to get my troops moving as soon as possible to actually get them anywhere. But yeah, it makes it really defensible too, which is just great news for anyone. Well, for me, not for anyone who's looking to attack me. So yeah, tanks wouldn't be great at all. I think airborne could work in here, but they're a little bit too expensive. So I'm just gonna stick with getting my troops to the front line as soon as possible.
I've just seen I've got a message already from Kazakhstan. Shall we see what it says? Has anyone else had a message?
Go on. Yeah, he did message me.
Oh, I didn't get a message.
Yeah. Asking to join.
Hi friend, how are you? Take me to your coalition. Sorry, not going to happen. If we were playing in a normal game that wasn't a band of brothers and cousins for the YouTube, maybe. But this is our thing. It's just going to be us. And that's the challenge. There's only ever going to be 3 of us in this coalition, and we're going to be going up against people with 5 in their coalitions. So it's going to be tough.
Yeah, there's already been some coalitions forming. We've got the Wehrmacht and the New Order. Yeah.
Okay, who's got the most members? We've got a 5-member coalition already. Let's have a look at who it is. Yeah, I could have told you that. It's Europe, Spain, Romania, Italy, Germany, France. That's going to be a really, really tough coalition to break. Really tough.
The New Order is currently surrounding us. We've got Australia, Myanmar, and South Korea.
Oh, so we've got a really early problem here. So the New Order. Yeah, here they are. Australia, Myanmar, South Korea. South Korea is over there. Myanmar and Australia. Oh God, we're all mixed in between, aren't we? Well, Myanmar's going to be the first one under attack. But not for a while. They're going to have time to build up their defences and their attack. Oh, that's going to be tough.
If we need to, we could both work on taking down Myanmar. Early doors. We're
going to have to think about that one, aren't we? Yeah, maybe after my first wave of combat recons is built, I can build up this sort of eastern flank. Ooh, I'm going to have to go and have a look at Kathmandu. See what they've got there with these guys. Got to go in that way. So I'll stop short so I can see what they've got. Oh, yeah, it declares war. Okay, fine. I'm going for it. Declared war on Kathmandu. Keep these guys here in a nice defensive position. No, let's go for it. Taking a leaf out of your book, Jonathan, going hardcore attack straight in.
Go hard or go home.
Right, declared war on 2 nations. Won't be long before it's a third, which is Pakistan. Oh, my plane is just about to fly over a city. May see what's in there, but I'm not sure you do. But it shows you vaguely. It will show if there are any troops on the city, and are they armored vehicles or troops. And it will give you a vague idea. So, nearly there. Okay, great. I'm building up a nice big army up there. And over here. Keep them there. Just in case. But no one can land unless there's a port or something, can they? So, these guys would have to go all the way to a port. Okay, so we're thinking about early game strategy. I'm going to puzzle out what I'm going to do. And it's going to be a fascinating next episode to see what we did in our first day, how it's going, and all of that. I'm nearly there on the research. We've got 3 minutes till I can start making combat recons. It might be worth just holding on till we can do that first phase of orders and setting the wave. I think Europe's always a very strong start. It's where everyone aims for. We're going to have some huge coalitions and fights going on there. Africa normally gets a bit forgotten, but you normally end up with something quite strong there. There's normally one person who goes for Brazil, takes over South America, and then you might get a few in North America as well. We've seen it where there's a couple, like Argentina and Brazil, team up for South America, and then maybe even 3 in North America. So we're going to have some pretty nice coalitions forming and some pretty big fights. And it looks like our early fight's going to be with South Korea, Myanmar, and Australia. The Danger Coalition. What are your thoughts so far on the game, guys?
Yeah, that's it's going to be a little bit tough. Just got to hope that we don't end up being their first target.
Yeah, because if they send a load of troops to like one of your cities, it's tough to defend. So we're going to be seeing exactly what's going to be happening with that in the next episode, I think. And some of our decisions. Oh, I've seen some troops. So it looks like in Jammu there's no armoured vehicles and it is just troops. So I would say that there's going to be 2 troops there at the most. And so I will have 4 troops and a towed artillery. Oh, I can just sit near them and bomb them. Okay, that's nice. Great. And once this plane gets to hovering around that river, I'll fly it down, have a look what else is there, and then I can fly the plane over to the east and have a look at these cities as well. I should be able to get into Dhaka, but Kathmandu, I'm going to struggle. No, I can, because you can fly it to a river over there and then get it to fly over to this river here. You as long as you can work out your flight path and it's all in range, you can go pretty much anywhere because we're surrounded by rivers. So our reconnaissance is going to be really easy. It's going to be really helpful as well. So one thing to mention, I've just updated my Security Council subscription. Certainly not, being sponsored for this by Conflict of Nations. They're absolutely impossible to try and contact. So I've just bought it because I think it's important to have. You can set queues and we'll show you what it does, but you can basically queue up troops and it just means you might save a couple of hours if you're not awake to queue another build. And there's other things that it does. Jonathan, you'll remember better than I.
So there's the build queues, rally points. I mean, those are the key things. You've got a premium chat function, but we just chat using Discord, so that doesn't really apply to us. But just little quality of life changes, like exactly as you say, so you don't have to be awake all the time.
Yeah, rally points are like when you've built some troops, it will just automatically send them out to a spot. So you could, like, I don't know, have 2 cities producing stuff and send them to the same rally point, so that in the middle of the night they produce something, and then in the morning you've got a already assembled army maybe. Okay, so I've built the combat recons. Get ready for the first wave then. So I'm going to start building. Here we go, combat recon. It's called BRDM-1. 950 supplies, 850 components, 400 manpower, $1,000. Going to build one. It's going to take 21 hours 15. It would have taken probably about 24 hours. Oh no, that's right. So 21 hours 15. When the recruiting office is built, it'll be quicker. So it'll be like 19 hours. So that's going to help. Okay. Any of you guys getting on your first wave yet?
Yeah. I've just built my first wave too.
Very nice.
That's all sorted.
There we go. I've put in 3 combat recons. I'm going for my 4th and then 5th. I'll just make sure I've got all the recruiting officers in place. I think I'm just going to stick with the 3 on the west side. Yeah. Save the resources. So I've got 10,000 supplies left. Got nearly 8,000 components, 3,000 odd fuel, 2,700 on electronics, 3,500 rare materials, 5,500 manpower, $50,000. And actually, it's important early on to use the market. So there's loads of stuff. And you told me this, Jonathan. I didn't know it myself. But you get your own individual offers. They're not open to anyone else. Is that right? So what I see...
Yeah, this is early on in the game, just to presumably help things flow a little bit more.
Yeah.
So they're all the ones you're seeing now. Nobody else has floated any offers. This is just what the game's offering you. So, yeah, I mean, especially the rare materials, you've got to make the most of those and buy them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if I buy these, it doesn't affect what you can buy. It's just to help you early game. So they're there to buy and definitely spend your money. Definitely do that. And I've got 3,500 rare materials. I am going to... God, it's so tempting. So I've got the option of building a tank commander. I'd love to build a tank commander. What do I need?
It's easy to spend all of your money and then struggle in the first week because you spent all of your cash there. You've got to bear that in mind. Once you've got a bit more land, you don't need to worry about cash at all.
And then I never end up building officers. I research them, don't have the cash to build them. So I'm going to hang back and just wait it out until I can do either of the armoured fighting vehicle first or the mechanised infantry. I think it might be armoured fighting, because they're really strong. So let's take a look. Armoured fighting vehicle. 7 attack against troops, 5 against hard targets, 1 defence against planes and helicopters, and then they don't really have many debuffs except in a little bit in jungle. That's it. So they can be a bit better than main battle tanks, but they have much fewer hit points. Army base level 2, arms industry level 1, and when you've upgraded them to the next level, they get more air defense, basically, tiny bit more against troops. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with armoured fighting vehicle. I've just received a message from Mongolia. Should we have a look?
Yeah.
Hi friend, I want to join you. I'm sorry, in normal times we would, but we're not. Where's Mongolia? Up there. Okay, fine. So we're setting the scene for the battles, taking our positions, and we're bringing it to you live and direct. That's what we do. So any last thoughts?
Not from me.
No, I don't think so.
Just going to redirect my plane then to fly over Multan and then over Hyderabad. And then once I get over Hyderabad, I can then fly it back just to see if they're coming for me. And that's going to be really important to know. So, okay, well, join us in the next episode. It's going to be a great series. And thank you for watching. It's goodbye from me.
Bye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Over and out.